A longtime deputy of the Sheriff's Department was the late great artist Tom Benton. We're here at a unique exhibit of his work, a visual history of the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department. James Madison once said, "If men were angels, you wouldn't need law." When you think of the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department, what do you think? Do you think about getting a speeding ticket on Highway 82 or that squad car that's parked at the mouth of Snowmass Canyon? You might not be familiar with the many, many things that the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department does, and we hope this program will help you get to know the men and women in this community whose job it is to keep you safe. And what better place to start than with Sheriff Joe DeSalvo?
I would have to say the overall philosophy of the Sheriff's Office is based on a community standard that we have. And I believe the community standard is of tolerance, is of dignity and respect, and that's how people want to get treated, and respect people's privacy, and have a line in the sand that people know that when they cross that line that they will be held accountable for it. But to know that line is pretty broad as far as a gray area, if you will, between black and white. And I think we have a very civilized community, and their expectations of to have an intelligent police officer who can make decisions that are based on what's fair and what's right, and instead of just what's black and what's white. First of all, I need to say I don't consider us a law enforcement agency. I really think that's a term I'd like to put behind us and start to use public safety. The reason you might see our cars out there so much is because we are concerned about the safety of the public. And I would have to say our number one public safety hazard, if you would, or issue, not a hazard, is Colorado Highway 82 and the roads we drive on. So I do want to see my deputies out there, and I want people to know that we're out there for their safety, not to write them tickets, not to increase our revenue, not to do anything that I think is a common myth of what police do anyway, but it's for public safety. People unfortunately relate public safety, law enforcement, to just crimes. I like to think we do much more public safety, being available for people who need help, whether it's a leaky pipe or, God forbid, a tragedy that really affects your life. I think they need to know that they could call the Sheriff's Office or any public safety agency for help. But what I'm most proud of is this agency's ability, as well as the other agencies in this valley, to handle large planned and unplanned incidents. I think we do the day-to-day stuff very well, but I do think we're prepared for any large disaster that may happen, and that could range from a 16-person plane crash to a planned event as a presidential visit, which could mean 200 police officers coming to Pitkin County to protect our commander-in-chief, which we have done before, and that requires pulling in mutual aid from other agencies. So overall, I'm really proud of what we do, and I think we're prepared for a department our size for just about anything that could happen here.
Plato said, "Guardians guard the polis, but who shall guard the guardians?" One of the most important missions of the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department is keeping our neighborhoods safe, making us feel safe and secure in our community. And one of the ways they do that is neighborhood patrols. They'll even patrol if you're on vacation, check up on your house from time to time. We spoke with Deputy Michael Buglioni about just how they do that.
Hope there's no baby in that cart. Well, I'll put it back up here somewhere safe at least. The county lines were obviously created before the highways were. Redstone is in Pitkin County, Thomasville, Meredith, Laredo. They're all off the beaten path, but we do extra patrols up in all those faraway areas off of 82. But the Sheriff's Office offers the service of what we call vacation home checks. Someone can come in, homeowner, fill out a form of when they're going away, when they'll be back, and simply we'll just go and check out the property. So normal patrol, we're looking for people speeding, obviously, just not being safe. A lot of people pull off to the side of the road here because I think if you have AT&T on your cell phone, you start to lose it. So we're a lot of times stopping to check if people are okay. We do motorist assist. We want to make sure that we're there when someone has a flat or the car breaks down on this highway, we wear jeans. I was walking through Food and Wine this past summer with another deputy who was wearing jeans and a uniform shirt and all the equipment that goes with it. And 3 different people approached us and thought it was the coolest thing that we were wearing jeans. We don't wear it to be cool. We wear it because they're functional. We walk through thick brush and etc., but it also makes us approachable.
The Aspen schools are in an idyllic environment, surrounded by mountains. In fact, we're probably one of the only ski-in, ski-out schools in the world. A very important program for the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department is the School Resource Program, because our kids need a little guidance from time to time. What is a school resource officer and why is it so important in Pitkin County?
Well, a school resource officer plays a key role in the lives of kids that are growing up in this area. Not only am I a police officer, but I'm a teacher and a counselor as well. I teach a class in the high school called Street Law, and I also do a lot of time counseling the kids on just anything that they have going on in their life. It could be a problem at home, it could be a problem on Facebook, it could be they're being bullied. They come to our office constantly with problems or questions, about the law. I spend, I'd say, 4 to 5 hours a day just talking to kids, just spending time with them, getting to know them, getting kids to be comfortable with deputy sheriffs and police officers. And I think that's the biggest role that I play, is to get kids comfortable with law enforcement.
As a teenager, you go through a lot. You get your driver's license, you get your permit, you go through all these changes, minor to an adult, you turn 18, 16, and all these new rules come into your life, and Huff and Tina make you more aware and know what the law is.
I feel like if we're stuck in the building and there was no resource officer, the police would have to come from the outside in. It would take a long time for that. Therefore, it's more time for him to break into classrooms, making people safe. But I feel like with Huff or Tina here, resource officers, that we have, it'd be less people would be at
Panicked.
harm. Yeah, at harm or panicked because they're in the school and they're here to protect us if we do go into lockdown.
One of the big questions everybody has is, why is there law enforcement at the Aspen schools? The real reason for it is, if you think about it, this is the #1 spot in all of Pitkin County as far as population during the day. We have over 1,500 students here. That doesn't include staff or anything else. So this is probably the biggest spot in Pitkin County where anything could happen. And it does. We get lots of strange happenings here. We get ambulance calls. We get people that are walking through, the things that we have to check on. And our sheriff, Joe DeSalvo, is very concerned about the schools. He wants to have law enforcement up here. He wants the school to be one of the county's #1 most important things to keep an eye on. Not to scare the kids, but so that the kids feel safe. The coolest thing I've ever had happen to me was when one of my ex-students, Lily, brought me this picture that she made. Right there, the picture, the gun symbolizing the police, the flowers, the music, the harmony, the love that is between me and the kids is all simply stated right there in that picture.
Most communities have animal control officers. In Pitkin County, we call the position Animal Safety Officer. She doesn't just deal with dogs and cats, and you may be surprised to see some of the situations that she does have to deal with.
And we have this mule that's very ill-mannered, but a sweetheart. He was found this morning in Holland Hills, and we stuck him in a backyard, and now we're going to move him over to another area that can house him until we find its owner. My philosophy as an animal safety officer versus control is, #1, I don't control anybody's animals, as you can see. I do most of my enforcement through education versus enforcement, and I just use the enforcement to fall back on. And I take care of everything on 4 legs. Like after I leave this call, I need to go to Aspen Village and set a dog trap for a dog that's living underneath the trailer. A dog running on Highway 82 causes an accident. That person goes to the ER. That dog is actually, if we can find the owner, is responsible for that accident. And bears coming into your house, who are you going to call? Me.
Because we live in the mountains, we're surrounded by 14,000-foot peaks, Class 5 kayaking, and great hiking, we get our share of incidents in the backcountry. Mountain Rescue Aspen and the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department have a great relationship, and we caught up with Deputy Ray Peretz, who's also a member of Mountain Rescue, to tell us how they work together.
Well, Mountain Rescue works underneath the Sheriff's Department in virtually every county in the state of Colorado, as it is part of the Sheriff's responsibility to handle search and rescue operations. So we have 2 people on call 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. When a mission comes down, and again, it's typically somebody calls the Sheriff's Department to say somebody's overdue, or there's actually been an accident in the backcountry, or a missing airplane. The Sheriff's Department will start to do their investigation, and then they will call us, and we'll start to work together. Well, here we are virtually in downtown Aspen on a very, very popular venue hike. The U Trail. At least once a year we have a mission on this little trail, because it happens to be fairly treacherous. One wrong step, or somebody kicks over a rock, and there's nobody else who can go up and get them. So we go from at least 1 or 2 a year over here to obviously the Maroon Bells, which tend to have an awful lot of accidents. It's a pile of loose rocks, and they're also one of the 14ers in Colorado. People come to Aspen to finish off their hiking of all the 14,000-foot peaks, and we have the Maroon Bells, Capitol Peak, and Pyramid, all of which are pretty treacherous.
Russian novelist Fyodor Dostoevsky said, "The degree of civilization in a society can be judged by entering its prisons." The jail is another reflection of the overall philosophy of the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department.
This jail was built in 1984, and it's survived to today, and it's still in pretty good shape. We have to tweak things every now and then, but because it's a direct supervision jail, I think it's lasted longer. Everybody's got an idea. If I say to you, picture what jail is like, and you would conjure up in your mind an image from a movie or something like that. Here's the other key point, is that the officers are on the other side of the bars. So inmates are on one side of the bars, officers on the other side of the bars. In a direct supervision jail, the inmates, number one, are not confined in little boxes. They each have, in our jail, we're fortunate enough that they all have their own rooms, and they're only confined in those rooms from 11:30 at night till 8 in the morning. The philosophy of the jail is that if you create a normalized environment, 80 or 90% of the people that come into the jail will behave in a normal fashion. So we've gone to a certain length to create a normal environment. There's carpet on the floor, the chairs have cushions, inmates have access in and out, there's televisions, there's things like that. So the inmate is in more or less a normal environment. And what direct supervision maintains is that the majority of the people that come into a jail like that and are given that kind of atmosphere and environment, they will respond by behaving normally. So everybody that comes into the jail, new arrest, goes into the max day room until we can classify them, and we can determine by their behavior in there how they're going to act in with the general population. You know, we believe, and it's part of our mission statement, that that the inmates are here we're charged with their safe, secure, and humane detention while they're with us.
When you have an emergency of any kind, it's likely the first thing you'll do is call 911. The dispatchers of the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department are trained to rise to the occasion.
Hold on 1 second, I got a call. 911, what's the address of the emergency?
This department is responsible for taking all of the calls for the entire county and processing those and dispatching the appropriate personnel and apparatus, whether it be law enforcement, fire, EMS, mountain rescue, and after hours, even road and bridge and the city streets departments. The examples of the work that we do in this department would be anywhere from ambulance calls, CPR in progress type calls for a response for an ambulance, to barking dogs or questions about whether or not the pass is open. There's no doubt that even though we're a small community and it's certainly no New York City, our people in this department have to be ready to handle any type of call, whether that be a terrorist threat or a simple barking dog call. From one extreme to the other, they have to be ready to deal with it. We can't rely on the fact that we're a sleepy little village and it won't happen here.
Investigating crimes against children and juvenile delinquency is another necessary function of the Pitkin County Sheriff's Department. Deputy Bruce Benjamin has supported families in this way for nearly 3 decades.
Most people would be surprised to know that we here at the Sheriff's Office investigate quite a few cases of child abuse or crimes against children. That's my primary job here at the Sheriff's Office, and it really takes quite a bit of effort and time. We're very fortunate here at the Pitkin County Sheriff's Office that I am assigned to work these kinds of cases and have a great deal of advanced training in juvenile cases, crimes against children, and juvenile delinquency cases, which is somewhat unique for a department this size. It's very common for me to get a call 10 o'clock at night, 1 a.m. in the morning from one of our patrol staff who encounters a juvenile issue, a domestic violence case where there are children in the home, a runaway youth who may be on their way out of state, hitchhiking on some barren roadway, a delinquency case where a child has committed a crime and might need juvenile detention admittance late at night. So I feel very fortunate to be able to be a resource for our department and provide specialized services in the juvenile area. Being a father of a 17-year-old girl in the community, it really touches home with me when a child is having difficulties, either drug problems or mental health problems or something causing them to commit crime, to be able to help work with the probation officer, the juvenile court judge, and the prosecutors to help turn that child around. There's nothing more important.
You may have noticed a theme running through this program, a philosophy of the Sheriff's Department that relies on safety and education more than enforcement.